How to make $100,000 your first year in car sales. When I first started in the industry, I had no experience in doing this. Matter of fact, I didn't even want to sell cars. However, my first year, I made over $100,000, and I'm just any average person. So if you're looking to make over $100,000 in the car industry, then this video is for you. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Stick around to the end because I have a bonus tip I want to share with you to help you get to $250,000 a year in sales. So one important factor that really helped me scale to six figures my first year doing car sales was knowing my inventory. Not necessarily knowing the product so much, it was knowing where the inventory was on the lot. And the reason is because time kills deals. This is something that my sales manager always told me. But knowing where your vehicles are on the lot is extremely important. When you first greet someone, when they walk in the door, that's where the timer starts. You have a few minutes to grab their attention and to help them locate and land them on the perfect vehicle. Knowing where your inventory is can help speed up that process. If a customer comes in asking for a certain used vehicle and you don't know where it's at and you're spending 15 minutes walking around the lot trying to find the vehicle, trying to grab the keys, find out it's way in the back by detail, hasn't been through inspection, and you're doing all this running around, you're gonna lose that customer. Time was one of the biggest things that hurt me when I started out until I started to narrow down on my process and really get good at landing people on the right vehicles, asking the right questions, and saving them the most time. Now, aside from that, I will say that having product knowledge is important, but it's not as important as you think. You see, for my 3 years of being there, the best salespeople did not know much about the cars themselves. I learned from people who had just better people skills than they did product knowledge. And a lot of people push product knowledge, but the truth is when people walk into a dealership, they either already know about the product or they're there to solve a problem. All you're doing is being a problem solver. You don't need to read off a brochure of all the specs of a vehicle. Your goal is to solve their problem and do it in a timely manner. So know where your inventory is, know your used car, know your new cars, and know how to quickly navigate around the lot and land the customer on the right vehicle. Remember, time kills deals. Something else that I did that helped me make $100,000 my first year selling cars was learning word tracks. If you are a beginner, which I'm assuming you are, let's say you've never worked at a dealership before, and you walk in, you get hired, you're gonna stand out there and you're not gonna know what to do. You really need to dive into some training. One thing I did before I started the dealership, I had terrible people skills, and I'm pretty introverted as it is. But I learned if I wanted to do sales, I had to get really clear on how I communicated with people. As a salesperson at most places, you're taught a certain process. Usually it's a 9 or 10 step or 11 step process. It's greeting the customer to all the way down to closing the customer and delivering the vehicle. There's a bunch of steps in between, and that's usually what the dealership will train you on. And they'll say, okay, just go through those certain steps, knock them out, and you should get to your delivery. What they don't really teach you when you get hired in is that at every step, there's usually objections from customers, even from just greeting them to all the way down to where it comes to about to deliver them. Customers will have objections along the way. What I recommend you do is learn some different sales word tracks. Learn how customers say different objections so that you know what to look for. I can do a whole entire video on just closing and sales objections and word track, but that'll be a video for maybe another day. I highly recommend if you're off the street, never done sales before, lean into some training. Find someone who can mentor you. It doesn't even have to be car sales training. You can just watch sales training videos on YouTube. The reason learning different word tracks is important because it allows you to not get hung up in that process I was talking about. If there's 10 different steps, you do not want to get hung up on each of those steps. Your goal is to keep moving through the process. Remember what I said, time kills deals. And this will develop over time, but it's good to get that training in before you even start. This way, when you do hit the floor and you start taking ups, then you have an understanding and you're more well-equipped and you seem more professional. Customers want to deal with someone who looks professional. I don't care if it's your first day selling cars. Act like you've been doing this for the last 30 years. Another thing that's really helped me increase my sales and get to that $100,000 my first year was doing a lot of trial closes. Basically, a trial close is a way to ask a question to assume a sale. Let's say you're taking a test drive and you're coming back from the test drive. A good way that I like to use a trial close, hey, how are we gonna title the vehicle today? Are you gonna put it in you or your wife's name? And that's already assuming the sale, and it's just jumping through the next step and trying to get there. And maybe the customer goes, okay, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put it in my wife's name. Great, you already know you probably got a deal. In their head, they just agreed on the sale pretty much. Let's say they object to that. Whoa, we haven't talked about numbers. Hey, not a problem, guys, I'll go ahead and work up the numbers and make sure you're 100% satisfied before you leave today. And boom, just like that, you're on to the next step. That's how quickly you need to move through and know word tracks to help you get to the next step to get to the very end of that sale. Another thing that's helped me scale was setting monthly goals. Our dealership actually had us do that, where we filled out a little goal sheet every month, and I didn't pay much attention to it until I started tracking my sales. I found that if I made a little contest with myself and didn't compare myself to other salespeople, that I'd perform really well. What I would do mentally is if I had a goal of, let's say, selling 15 cars that month, and let's just say I work 30 days of the month. That means I have to sell a car every 2 days. So what I would do is I would try and sell as many cars as early in the month as I could. This way I wasn't stressing out towards the end of the month. I would try and get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sales before, the 6th or 7th of the month. That way I would be, let's say I had 5 sales on the 6th of the month. That means I'm technically ahead of schedule, meaning I don't have to sell a car until the 10th of that month. You see, customers can feel if you're stressed out about something, so if you're not hitting your sales quotas, the customers can see right through that. So write down some realistic goals and watch yourself progress slowly through the month, whether it's income goals or car unit goals, whatever it is. Now, I believe anyone can make $100,000 their first year selling cars. It's really not that hard. I'm just an average person. I believe that if you want to get into car sales, you can go to any dealership. If they're paying you gross commission, get an interview with them, ask the sales manager that's interviewing you, hey, what are your salespeople doing? What does their income look like? How are they getting paid? I think you'll find that most car salesmen are making about $100,000 a year. However, if you look it up on Google, it says the average car salesman's salary is about $38,000 to $45,000 a year, or something ridiculously low. I don't believe that's the case. I believe that's for someone who is average. If you follow these things that I've given you, I promise you, you will make 6 figures your first year selling cars. Now, this next one's really important. It's being persistent. Being persistent with every customer. You see, I've mentioned quite a few times now the steps that you follow. Those same steps that you follow to get to that sale will apply to every single customer that walks in that door. Get it out of your head right now that you're not going to sell every single customer. But you will, however, follow the process 100% of the time to get the best results. I think a lot of time we find in this business that we'll sell a car and then we kind of like just kick it back for the day and hang out and we'll wait till tomorrow and try to get another sale. This is an industry where if you want to make $100,000 your first year, you got to keep going. You have to keep going at the same exact pace every single day. You should be talking to every customer that walks in front of you. You should do your same qualifying, your same greeting, all the steps, every single customer, every single time. You see, it's a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more sales you'll get. So being persistent and talking to every single customer and performing your daily activities every single day that you need to. That means including all follow-up, cold calling, talking to all your walk-in customers, every income producing activity. If you are doing that every single day for 1 year straight, I will promise you, you will make $100,000 your first year selling cars. Look, I've been doing this for 3 years now. I've been very successful in the car industry. And believe it or not, it's not even an industry I'm super passionate about. I basically just did it so that I could purchase other investments. But I'm telling you, if this was something that you were seriously dedicated to and you wanted to make this your career, you follow these 4 things: knowing your inventory, learning objections and word tracks to keep the sales process going, setting monthly sales goals, and being persistent in your daily activities and follow-up, I guarantee you'll make $100,000. So here's my bonus tip I want to share with you. We talked about how to make your first $100,000 in car sales, but what about getting up to $250,000 and above? You see, you have to be dedicated to this industry. If you find out that you love what you do and you show up to work and you're dedicated to car sales and you want to make it your career, getting to $250,000 is not that hard. All you have to do is personal marketing and branding. Now, again, this could be a video for itself, but I want to give you this little bonus tip here. Utilizing social media, not as a brand for the dealership, using social media as a brand for yourself. If you want to get to $250,000 a year or more selling cars, you need to brand yourself in a way that people will go out of their way to come to you, not to the dealership, to come to you. You are the asset. If you do want to reach that complete next level and get to $250,000 and above, do personal marketing. And I don't just mean setting up a little Facebook profile, posting cars on Facebook every once. I mean, dedicated and getting into a community and being the guy in that area that sells cars. And I mean, like, you gotta be good. Like, I'm talking serious marketing. Like, you're doing shorts, you're doing Instagram Reels, TikToks, you're doing long form content, you're running ads on your own branding, not the dealership. Remember, you need to brand yourself, not the dealership. The dealership pays thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, if they're a big enough dealership, in doing paid advertising. You'll never compete with that. But what they don't have is your personal brand, your ability to make a connection with another client. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next week's video, peace.